This is fine. This is totally fine. It's already very overwhelming. I am a 21st century woman and I can do anything. Hello, welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being here. That was super sweet of you. Look at me, I'm cosplaying as a Glossier girl. I'm low maintenance. It takes me 5 minutes to do my makeup. I drink green juice for breakfast. Sorry, was that giving you Glossier energy? I was really trying to give you low maintenance girl energy, but frankly, I just don't have it in me. I'm a high maintenance gal. I'm gonna be giving you a ton of Glossier dupes today, and I'm gonna be giving you multiple options for some of those dupes. The reason I made this video today is because I feel like there's been a lot of new brands coming out lately that give the same sort of vibe as Glossier and exist at a somehow even higher price point. If you missed my last video where I talked about celebrity makeup brands, I talked about Lauren Conrad's new brand and how it's giving me very Glossier vibes, but for a higher price point. I also talked about Morphe 2 and how that also gives me Glossier vibes at like the same price point. Everybody's trying to hop on the no makeup train, and here's the deal. They're all overcharging you and you don't have to buy it. Well, obviously there's a product you really want. It's your money. You do whatever you want with it, but I just feel like a lot of these products are overpriced and you can easily recreate with stuff that you already have. So I wanted to show you how to do that here today. I also wanted to draw attention to a group of people that are under the Instagram handle Out of the Gloss. They're a bunch of former Glossier retail employees who unfortunately were all just laid off because Glossier decided to close a bunch of their flagship stores. Some of these retail employees had really bad experiences, especially Black Glossier retail employees. So I really encourage you to go check out that Instagram account, read their open letter to the CEO, Emily. And the way some of these employees were treated was just absolutely despicable. So I definitely encourage you to educate yourself on that issue. I will link them down below. But today, I'm not encouraging you to buy from Glossier. In fact, I'm encouraging quite the opposite. I'm encouraging you to use makeup that you already have. So if that sounds like a topic that is interesting to you, then I encourage you to please subscribe and keep on watching. It's coming at you right now. All right, removing all my makeup in 3, 2, 1. Whew. I'm just kidding. I actually look beautiful with and without makeup, so that was not really startling to me. That was acting. Let's start with brows because I have trouble focusing on any other aspect of my makeup when I don't have a brow on. Brows frame the face. Brows give me life. Brows give me an attitude. So the way I like to achieve my Glossier brow is by adding a little bit of waxiness to my regular brow gel. So I've actually used Boy Brow before. I did not find it to be worth the hype. It was fine. It was not worth $16 at all, though. It was a fine brow gel. But the one thing I did really like about it is that it was a little waxier than your typical brow gel. You could tell it was a little thicker. So the way I achieved that without buying Boy Brow is I steal my boyfriend's hair wax. You can get a cheap hair wax pretty much anywhere. A hair putty, any sort of hair product that has a waxy texture to it is gonna help you in this scenario. And if you don't want to go through all of this, not that it's a lot, it's literally 2 steps, but if you want like an actual dupe for the Glossier Boy Brow Gel, then I would recommend trying the e.l.f. Wow Brow Gel. I talked about that one in my Best of e.l.f. video, which I will link on the screen, but that brow gel is a perfect dupe for the Glossier one. It just has a slightly different shaped brush, but it has the same fibers, and I actually think it's a little better. Oh my god, I don't even have butterfly clips in. How embarrassing! So what I like to do is take my little bit of brow wax here, and this is gonna look nuts. Don't worry about it, okay? This is fine. This is totally fine. This goes on blue, but when you rub it out, it gets clear. I put on too much. Okay, let me take some off. So I took that wax and I basically just slicked them down, made them nice and smooth, and I'm wiping away any of the excess. And now I just take my little spoolie and brush them up. It's kind of like soap brows, but I like wax brows better than soap brows because my issue I found with the soap brows is they look really good, but throughout the day my soap would start to like dry out, so they would start to look crumbly, whereas I find that I don't get that with the wax. The wax is much better for long wear. Okay, so now what I do is take my cheap little brow gel, this one's from ColourPop, it's like $6, and I am just gonna brush through that wax. So the Glossier Boy Brows, they do come in tints. Most people like the tinted ones. I feel like that's like the cult favorite. So I feel like this gives you the same sort of effect. I just added the waxiness separately. You don't need to spend $16 on a brow gel. I know Maybelline makes a tinted brow gel that you can get at the drugstore. I mentioned the e.l.f. one has a tinted brow gel. ColourPop has this tinted brow gel. Like, you can get a brow gel pretty much anywhere, and especially a tinted one nowadays. And if you buy your wax separately, this is gonna last you so long, because you saw I accidentally used too much, but you barely have to use any at all. All right, and here you have it. Here are my Glossier Boy Brows. They're looking extra feathery for you today. I do like to wait for the gel to dry a little bit before I do any cleaning up, so if you see any little smudgies up above my brow, try to mind your own business because I am gonna clean it up later. All right, now moving on to my Glossier base, which I assume is why most of you are here. I know I also love that dreamy, dewy, glossy looking Glossier skin. So the product I'm gonna start with is probably going to polarize the nation, but I am going in with my Rite Aid brand Petroleum Jelly. So yes, I know it's outrageous, it's offensive. This is how you get that Glossier base, man. You know that $24 Future Dew product that just looks like Vaseline? Yeah, you don't have to spend money on that. You can just use actual Vaseline. And the way I'm gonna focus that is just on the high points of my face, wherever I want to glow. This is a tip I learned from Katie Jane Hughes. She doesn't use Vaseline, but she uses Weleda Skin Food, which to me is like just a very oily moisturizer. If you would prefer to not use Vaseline, you can use a very oily moisturizer. CeraVe Healing Ointment would be good. That's also basically just Vaseline, but you know, some moisturizer that gives you some glow, and you're really gonna be able to test this glow because the sun is nowhere to be found today. So I don't have the sun to help me with my glow. Do you see it? Do you see that stripe there? Now, for my foundation, I do have a dupe for the Glossier skin tint, but I'm gonna give you a couple options here. So I learned about this dupe from watching Jamie Page here on YouTube. She did a drugstore Glossier dupes video. Definitely go check out her video, that was really good. But she recommended the NYX Bear With Me Tinted Skin Veil as being a perfect dupe, if not a better dupe, for the Glossier skin tint. And I do love this foundation. I use it all the time, but I also wanna give you a recommendation for how to work with a foundation that you already have to make it more Glossier-like. So I'm gonna be using my Revlon Candid Glow foundation, which is on the lighter coverage side, and I would recommend using a lighter coverage foundation for a Glossier look, but if you don't have a light coverage foundation, you can still do this, don't worry. Okay, so I'm gonna take half a pump on the back of my hand here, and then what I'm gonna do is mix in a little bit of moisturizer, making my own tinted moisturizer. I'm just using a very basic CeraVe moisturizing cream. You don't have to get anything fancy, just use whatever moisturizer you have, and I am going to mix them together, essentially making my own little BB cream slash tinted moisturizer. If you're using a higher coverage foundation, just cut it with more moisturizer, whereas I did like pretty even parts because my foundation is already pretty light coverage. Now we're gonna go to put this on, and it's not gonna provide a ton of coverage. Oh, I am using my fingers, by the way. I always use my fingers to apply foundation, but I would definitely use your fingers with this because it's moisturizer and you don't want your sponge to just pick up all the moisturizer and absorb it. And you'll see, it's gonna give me a tint. It's not gonna give me like any serious coverage, but that's the vibe of the Glossier skin tint. I love how this is looking. This looks so good. It's covering up that redness on my cheeks. I'm not covering up my blemishes, but I am gonna conceal, so I really don't care. And it just gives me a nice evening skin tint, and you're still getting that glow from the Vaseline. Oh, the petroleum jelly just mixed in with the foundation, and it looks so good. Let's move on to concealing. So this is another one that I think is a pretty close dupe for the Glossier Stretch Concealer. It's the NYX Conceal Correct Contour Palette. I literally scream about it constantly, so I won't scream about it again, but check out my Best of NYX video. I think what impressed people so much about the Glossier Stretch Concealer was the creaminess to it, how emollient it was. And if you are a dry skin gal like me, then you know that sometimes those really drying liquid concealers can just like suck the absolute life out of our skin. So I find cream concealers to be so dry skin friendly, but the Glossier one is a bit on the oily side, so you have to be really, really dry to get use out of it, whereas I feel like this NYX Conceal Correct Contour Palette is much more multiple skin types friendly. It is super creamy and emollient, but you can set it down with the powder. So if you're more on the oily side, you can absolutely set this down. And if you're more on the dry side like me, you can probably get away with not setting it. I am gonna set it today just because I find that my mascara runs if I don't set it, especially when I'm going for a Glossier look. I use my fingers for everything. I usually use my fingers for most things, but when I'm trying to get that Glossier very natural look, I find that using your fingers just warms up the product. It makes everything really sink into the skin more, and it just gives you such a nice dewy look. Okay, using the slightly deeper shade to cover up my blemishes here. All right, that is basically it for my base. I am gonna go in with a little bit of my Revlon Candid Glow powder and my Blendiful here just to set my under eyes. I know that Glossier has their Wowder powder. I have watched so many reviews on people trying Glossier products, and not a single person has been impressed by that powder. They weren't unimpressed by it, but they were very much like, oh, it's like any other powder. You don't need to spend a lot of money on powder. Any powder you have should be fine, and I just like to set under my eyes, and that's it, I'm done powdering. All right, so normally after powdering, I would do a little bit of bronzing or contouring, but because it's the Glossier look, I find that they don't really do that. It's usually just like cheek color, which is usually one of their cloud paints, their blushes. So I'm not going to be contouring today, but I am going to be giving you a sweet cheek color, and we're not using cloud paint, baby, we're using lipstick. Glossier cloud paints are very pigmented and they're pretty matte. They're not drying, but they themselves don't have any sheen to them. So another thing you can do is take a matte liquid lipstick. That's gonna be the closest formula to the actual cloud paints, because the cloud paints have a very liquidy consistency to them. I'm gonna be using this ColourPop X Makeup Shayla Satin Liquid Lipstick. I think that this finish is absolutely closest to the Glossier ones. I'm gonna take some on the back of my hand because this is very pigmented, and the Glossier cloud paints are also very pigmented. They're very easy to overdo, which is why it's a product I ended up decluttering. Also, the packaging was horrible. I hated that it was in those little paint tubes. I always took out way too much. But so as you can see, I have my liquid lipstick right here, and I am just, oh, it's already very overwhelming. See, you barely need anything. And because my base is already so dewy and moisturized, it's just gonna blend out like a dream. And this color, Slow Down is the name of this color from ColourPop X Makeup Shayla, is actually pretty much a perfect dupe for the Glossier Cloud Paint Dusk. I love having a super dewy base like this too, because it's very difficult to overdo any cheek application when you have such a dewy base, because you can always just blend it out. You just keep blending. Didn't it look like I put so much on when I did those 2 dots? I was even a little nervous, but I totally blended it out, and I'm actually gonna add a little more. Ooh, look at these peachy cheeks. Wow, I haven't worn a blush like this in a while, and I'm kind of here for it. Wow. Okay, so that is it for the blush. Now, the last complexion product I have to talk about is highlight. This one, I also have a few options for you. First up, I have a dupe, or at least what I consider to be a pretty good dupe for the Glossier Halo Scope highlighter. I have used it before, so I feel like I can pretty confidently say this is a dupe. This is the e.l.f. liquid highlighter with vitamin E. I just raved all about this in my Best of e.l.f. video, so if you want to hear me scream about it, head on over there. This is a nice, beautiful, pearlescent liquid highlighter. As I said, it has vitamin E in it, so it's extra oily, and I find that to make it a pretty good dupe for the Glossier Halo Scope, because that one has a coconut oil center, and then it has like a ring of cream shimmer whatever around it too. And this one also has an oil in it. So oil, oil, shimmer, shimmer, it's all the same, baby. I'm gonna show you this on one side, and then I'll show you my other method on the other side. You wanna tap that lightly, because it is a pretty strong highlighter, but it's also very oily, and we already have so much oil on our skin. I honestly should have put this on before I did the blush. See how nice and natural looking that is. Oh, I love it so much. But if you, my friend, do not want to go out and pick up that e.l.f. liquid highlighter, I hear you, because we're making this work with stuff we already have. So if you don't already have that liquid highlighter, get that moisturizer out again and put a tiny little dot in the center on the back of your hand. Then what I'm gonna need you to do is grab your favorite inner corner highlight eyeshadow, your favorite eyeshadow that you like to use as a highlighter. For me, it's Soleil from the Jackie Aina palette, this color. I'm gonna rub my finger in there real good. And then I am going to make my own cream highlighter on the back of my hand. Did you see it change colors? That was so cool. So now I'm just going to take that on the other side here hit it on the high points of my cheeks. And so the difference between the one I made with the moisturizer versus my e.l.f. one is that the e.l.f. one is clearly more of like a highlight, you know? Whereas this is more of like, ooh. This side, to be honest, gives me much more of actually Haloscope vibes. The Haloscope highlighter is not this bright. This e.l.f. highlighter is definitely the Haloscope highlighter turned up a few notches. But this side with the Jackie Aina shadow just mixed with my moisturizer is like true Glossier vibes, man. Like this is really it. Alright, so now that the highlight has arrived, my dewy skin is complete and we can move on to the eyes. So Glossier's first real eyeshadow product they came out with was their Lidstar Liquid Shadows. And I gotta admit, you guys, I really almost bought these. But then after watching a bunch of people review them, I realized that they were incredibly sheer and that I could achieve the exact same look with shimmery eyeshadows. Those Lidstars look glamorous, they look really nice and convenient, but you don't need to buy them because you can achieve the look of a sheer wash of shimmer just by your application technique. So I'm going to be attempting to show you that today. Do my Kathleen Lights palette here because that has some of my absolute favorite shimmers in here. Oh, they're so pretty. I feel like the colors for Lidstars looked really nice and like flirty and fun. They were like very pinky and purpley. So I'm going to be going in with the shade Fluorite, which is this beautiful like purpley shimmer. I really feel like it's just like a sheer wash of eyeshadow, you know? I think you have to pick the right eyeshadow. I don't think you can pick like a deep purple to do this with. I think you have to pick an already sort of pastel-y shadow because that's the vibe that the Lidstars give off. Then I would just pick like a more light colored shimmery shadow. And because I want a little bit of extra sparkle, I am gonna dip into the Super Shock in this palette, Diamond. Oh my god, I wear this one literally every day, you guys. I put it over every eyeshadow. It just makes your lids look extra wet without actually making them wet. So there you go. That's another thing you can do if you want to make your eyeshadows look more liquidy, I guess. If that's the look you're going for, then you can always add a ColourPop Super Shock shadow because those tend to make everything look wet. This is your Lidstar dupe. So the other product that I feel like was very Glossier in all of these Glossier looks is they have these Color Slide eyeliners, which are literally just pencil eyeliners that cost way too much money, and you can achieve the same look that they give with them without using pencil eyeliners. So I find that in all the videos I watch from Glossier and people that use it, what they do is they lay down the eyeliner close to their lash line and then they blend it out to give it like a smudgy look. But you don't have to buy an eyeliner pencil to get a smudgy look, my friend. You can just use eyeshadow. So I'm going to be going in with this beautiful purple right here from the Kathleen Lights palette. And like they do with the Color Slide, I'm just gonna concentrate that close to my lash line. And it kind of just adds a little depth there. Like I get why they like doing it because it does just add a little bit of a something something, especially when you're trying to go for a more natural Glossier look. It adds something without adding too much. Okay, and that is it for my little bit of eye depth here. Just a little something something, you guys. That's all these products really do. I'm gonna put on my mascara off camera. Here's the deal. Lash Slick is $16 and it's just a silicone brush mascara that is only going to give your eyelashes a little bit of something. And I think when it comes to mascara, it's so just like whatever your preference is. Do I think you need to buy Glossier Lash Slick to get that very basic looking mascara? No, get Maybelline Great Lash or get an e.l.f. mascara. Lash Slick is not going to give you a lot, you know? I'm gonna be going in with my Essence Lash Princess mascara because I like a really voluminous full lash, but this is not gonna be a Glossier lash for you, so I'll just do that off camera. All right, so we have nearly completed our Glossier look, and the only thing left to do is... Did you say it? Did you say gloss? Tell me you said gloss. Come on, it's Glossier. Did you think we weren't gonna do a lip gloss? The lip gloss that I'm most interested in from Glossier that I have not purchased before, but I do think looks really pretty, but I will not justify spending $16 on, is their red gloss. And Fenty's come out with one too, and it's taken a lot of strength, a lot of restraint on my part to not buy either of them, but I will not buy either of them because I know I don't have to, because I already have a red lipstick and I already have a clear gloss, and if you put these babies together, you too can have a red clear lip gloss. All right, so I'm gonna take this Colored Rain matte liquid lipstick and just put literally one dot That's all you need. Don't put any more. This is my second take of this. Last time I did a few dots. And then just take your clear gloss, go right over it. And the less of the liquid lipstick you add, the more sheer it will be. So you can really make it to your preference. Just using my finger to make sure it's spread out evenly. All right, and there you have it. Here is my beautiful Glossier inspired red lip gloss that I created just by using red lipstick and a clear gloss. This is currently my favorite lip gloss formula, and it only costs $5 for a 3-pack. So for me, I'm totally satisfying staying with the formula that I already love, and I know that I don't need to buy another lip gloss just to get a different color, and that I can create that on my own. I am a 21st century woman and I can do anything. All right, and with that, you guys, this is it. This is my Glossier Glow. Check it out. It's a look. I cannot lie. I think the Glossier look is so pretty, even though it's not a look I go for every day, but I really like how this look turned out. I think it's really pretty, and the main reason I made this video was to remind you to utilize makeup that you have before buying makeup from these no makeup brands. Because yes, they're really trendy and really cool and all the supermodels wear them, but you don't always have to spend money on these types of products, especially when it comes to no makeup. Because as you saw with each of these steps, I was able to achieve essentially the same look with stuff I already had. And really, it just involves using makeup in a different way. So whether that's using lipstick as blush or using liquid lipstick and gloss to make a new colored gloss, like you just have to think innovatively, challenge yourself to use makeup in a different way. I hope you liked this video. If you did, please be sure to give it a big thumbs up, subscribe to my channel. I have a lot of exciting videos coming soon. The next video I think you are going to see is going to be about luxury beauty items that I regret purchasing. That one came to me in a dream the other night and I like frantically wrote it down in the morning. I'm so excited to do that. I have so many products to warn you not to buy. I have so much makeup coming in the mail that I need to review. I wish the mail would go faster. Please save the post office. I will link stuff for that down below too. But I thank you guys so much for watching. Please check out my description box for information on how to save the post office and also for a ton of Black Lives Matter resources, including petitions to sign, places to donate, and ways to help protesters. So I thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!